What's good, people? I got a fragrance here, and I thought I could give it a good old-fashioned review. I did a first impressions. I don't think I properly conveyed what this fragrance smells like or what I really thought of it. The fragrance is Jimmy Choo Man Extreme. I'm a big Jimmy Choo Man fan. I got the entire collection. I don't see a lot of videos on this particular fragrance. I'm going to tell you what it smells like. It's a pretty simple scent. Actually, a pretty familiar scent. We'll get to that in a second. But it opens up with clary sage, geranium, your typical mall scent notes. The kind of twist on that would be the buttload of nutmeg it opens up with. Kind of a soft spice, like a baking spice. I actually kind of like that little twist in this fragrance. Some herbaceousness with the red thyme. Then it starts to dry down. You get some woody notes. I don't know what woody notes means, but it gets woody. It gets some wood. You get some vetiver. It's kind of a sweet fragrance as well. It's got some tonka bean. When I first smelled it, I actually thought there was some lavender in it. And the reason for that is, like I said, this is kind of a familiar fragrance. And I think you've smelled this fragrance before as well. I mean, if you've ever smelled Ralph's Club, if you've ever smelled Gucci Guilty Parfum, if you ever smelled Mont Blanc Legend Intense, I mean, it's got that same geranium and clary sage combination, which, by the way, I love all of those fragrances. And I like this fragrance too. But you may not if you have those fragrances or if you have a big collection, because this fragrance isn't exactly groundbreaking. It isn't something you haven't smelled before. But it does smell good. It's extremely mass appealing. You will get compliments. You will smell good. Now, the question most of you guys want to know, since this is a Jimmy Choo Man fragrance, how's the performance? This is such a fresh scent. This is such an easy wear. I wondered why they called it extreme. Why is this an extreme flanker? Yeah, the projection is pretty solid. I mean, it projects for about 2 or 3 hours and projects pretty strongly. Thankfully, this is a non-offensive scent. I mean, you're not gonna be really filling rooms, but you are projecting rather far. The most surprising part was the longevity. It not only performs well, I got about 8 hours before I refreshed, and I didn't even need to refresh at the 8-hour mark. So when I say this is an 8-hour plus fragrance, it's not like it was dying off in hour 6. It was still performing pretty well. This is by far the best performing fragrance in the Jimmy Choo Man line. I guess that's why it's called Extreme. If you're looking for the Jimmy Choo Man DNA, if you're looking to purchase this because you love Jimmy Choo Man and Jimmy Choo Man Intense, the DNA is in there. It's buried in there. As a matter of fact, throughout most of the life, you're not even going to notice that it's a Jimmy Choo Man flanker, but you get here and there these wafts that kind of remind you of those fragrances. But at the end of the day, Jimmy Choo kind of threw a curveball by doing something very different from the rest of the line. This is the bottle right here. As you know, amazing atomizer. This fragrance does the job and does the job well. I'm going to give it a score. It's a tough score because I can rate this objectively, but my personal tastes, I personally like it. So I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10 with an asterisk. If you have those fragrances that I spoke of earlier, you may find this redundant. But whether you do or whether you don't, yeah, it's a 7 out of 10. And it's also a wait till it hits discounter kind of fragrance, because it's better than the rack store fragrance by far, but it's not quite the rush to Macy's go out and get it fragrance. It was for me because I'm a big fan and I'm a collector, but wait till it hits discounters. You don't need to pay $130 for this right now. You can wait. It's going to drop to $60. If you can get it at 40, that's going to be a steal. $60 is a good price. But if you're not a collector, if you don't have hundreds of bottles, you just want to smell good. You just want the compliments, or as Curly Fragrance calls them, compliments. Compliments. Baccarat Rouge. It doesn't smell like Baccarat Rouge, but it does smell good. 7 out of 10. I think it's a very good score for this fragrance. And the best part is, I'm going to go ahead and stand by what I said about this fragrance. I'm not going to tell you, go sample first. You don't need to sample it. You can go to Macy's. You go to Ulta. Eventually, this thing will get to Sephora. You can go try it for free, which I suggest you do. Thanks for watching.